it going.
Have you got a chance to meet your new teammate, Zion Johnson?
I haven't, but from what everybody's saying is he's a great dude. Texted him, just congrats and enjoy it. And, he's excited to be a part of the group now. And, all positive. I mean, what else would it be? But it is. From everybody I talk to and people that know him, it's all they rave about him, the kind of person he is, and obviously the kind of football player.
As an offensive lineman, how exciting is it to see the team invest in an O-lineman in the first round, especially a guy you're going to be playing next to?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly, I feel like our group is so tight. It's great to have another guy in the group, and I feel like he's going to mesh well with the guys we got in here. And we're excited to have him. We're excited to have Jamari. We're excited to have all the guys on board, and however it shakes out is what it is. But I just feel like our group has come so far from where we were last year, just in terms of like how tight we are now, and we're just excited to bring everybody on board.
Do you scout him? Do you guys have to do any scout? Do you do any reconnaissance on him to find out who he is before you?
Nah, that's all coaches and scouts and stuff. Yeah.
What about you guys have made a couple of big time moves on defense? What have you thought about the commitment they made there, and just kind of the direction this seems to be heading?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, we picked up some really good players. I mean, they had all those the guys played against. At least on the front line, I played against all of them, and it was awesome to see. I mean, those guys are all great players, and I can't really speak to J.C. Jackson at all. I don't really know anything about the back end game, but they from the front line. I mean, it's those three guys that we picked up are phenomenal players, and are going to help the team a lot.
You've played against Sebastian before,
mm-hmm.
right? What makes him so tough to block, particularly in the run game?
Yeah, I think I played him in the playoffs in 2020, and it was kind of surprising. Like, I was watching film, and he's kind of like I guess not a household name, or wasn't back then, but I kept watching film of him, and it was like he kept popping out, and I was like, man, I haven't even really heard of this guy yet, and we hadn't played the Rams in a few years. So I started watching more and more film of him. I was like, man, this guy's a good player. Like, he's taking it to everybody. He's really patient. He has a great center of gravity, great balance, and he's strong. I mean, he's real strong. He's everything you want in nose guard, and I was happy to see we picked him up for sure.
You went up against Khalil a couple times a year in that division.
Yeah.
What is it about him that maybe with the matchups and everything creates problems, especially, and elevates the defensive line as a whole?
Yeah, I think just obviously having him and Joey out on the edge, that's great. I don't think anybody wouldn't take that, right? And I think the thing about both of them is that they can do it all. It's not like they're like, I guess you can call them pass rush specialists, but it's not like they're coming on the field on third down just for third down. You know what I mean? Like, they're great football players. Like, they play great in the run, they play great in the pass, they're great at diagnosing stuff. There's really not a whole lot of weakness to either of their game, and just being able to have those two complete football players on the edge, that's huge for us. And obviously playing against Khalil Mack was not happy when he got traded to the Bears, and so that was not what we wanted at the Packers, but it was. That just kind of speaks to the type of player he is, and extremely excited to have him on our side.
When we talked to Brandon after the Zion pick, he said sort of the vision was having a really stout interior of the line. Obviously, you and Matt from last year, and then adding Zion to that. Having three guys in there that capable pass protection, run blocking. What does that do for an offense, having that kind of solidified center of the offensive line?
Yeah, I think that again, it's like. The more I heard one time, you got to build from the ball out, right? And, there's truth to that. There's truth to every saying, but I think it helps us out so much. Just when the O-line, when we can work together. Really, we got the pieces now. I felt like we did a pretty good job last year, but there's a lot of room for improvement. My game and everybody's game. And I feel like being able to take that next step this year, solidifying our own line. Like, now we know each other's calls. We know what we're talking about. We can read each other's minds, and moving forward. And Zion's obviously going to be a huge part of that. And getting him in here and working from day one, it's going to be great. And I feel like the more we can put in, the more time we can put in, talking on the field, off the field, it's just going to make the football team better.
What did you personally want to improve, Corey?
I think that, just different consistency, part of my game, get better at pass pro, run blocking. I mean, there's certain stuff and that I, kind of have a list of stuff that I wanted to go through this off season. And I'm not going to go through all of it, but it's just like I try to make a list every off season of stuff that I can improve on and watch my film again and just see the areas, the games that I felt like I didn't play really well. Why was that? Was it the preparation? Was it was it how I was feeling that week? Was it was it something that I didn't focus enough on the off season, and then just take that and go into the off season, try and work on it.
In your years of experience, have you completed that list each year that you want to get better?
Yeah, I try to, and I try to pick. You can't do it all, but it's like try to focus on different sections of the off season and. Focus on this, focus on that. Like hand speed might not fit in well with when you're trying to build muscle in that part of the off season. So you might want to focus when you're trying to be explosive. That might fit in better then. So try to work in that section of the off season, and just trying. I feel like it's worked pretty well for me in the past, and just keep going.
Corey, you're obviously very close with Brian Goliath. What do you think about the team parting ways with him?
Yeah, it was tough. Tough to see Brian go. Obviously, talk to him and stuff, and gonna miss him. I've been playing with him for a long time, and there was really only 1 year where I wasn't playing with him in the NFL. So it sucks, man. It's part of the business, part of the game, I guess. But he's had a hell of a run thus far, and hopefully he'll, if he wants to, latch on with the team. If he doesn't, he had a hell of a career, and so if he wants to keep playing, he's been a great player, man. And hopefully, if he wants to keep doing that, if he doesn't, is what it is. But gonna miss him for sure.
You guys have a new offensive line coach this season, Brendan Nugent. Just your early impressions of what do you think he's going to bring to the team?
Yeah, he seems like a really good dude. Seems like knowledgeable, in the meeting room and stuff. And just talking to him a little bit. I've only had one meeting today with him, and but I've been texting with him every now and then. And he's part of the equation too. Sean Surratt's back, so he's we already know Sean, but Nuge is part of the equation where we got to get to know him. He's got to know us, know how we communicate, how we learn, and figure out the best way to coach us, and obviously us receive his coaching, and learn from what he can bring to our game.
Tough to see Franco. I know you got a
Yeah.
opportunity, but
Yeah, I was pissed, because I love Frank, obviously, and he, I felt like we'd had, he led a great room last year, and I'm sure Nuge will do the same and come in here, and he comes from the Saints and great background, and obviously they had a great O-line for a number of years, and they still do, and so it's not like he's unfamiliar to great O-line play. So, but yeah, Frank had an awesome opportunity, and I'm sure he'll be very successful down in Miami. But yeah, I wasn't thrilled, but but you can't be. That's just me being salty, and so. But yeah, I was happy to see him, take the next step in his career.
For a man like you, though, what's it like now? Because you had a constant with Camden for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
This is what, your fourth different O-line coach now in 5 years?
Yeah. I think that math. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even realize that. Honestly, they 2-1. Yeah. I've been so fortunate because, and I feel like, especially for a young player, you come into the league and you really, no matter how gifted you are or how well you adapt, there's still that, relationship that you got to build with your coach, and your production on the field isn't directly correlated with your coach, but it's there's a large amount of your game that you can improve if you have a great coach. And I've been so fortunate to have 4 great coach, well, 3 thus far. You know, I'm sure Nuge will be a great coach as well, but you know, I don't know him, and no, we haven't gone through a season or anything. But I have been really fortunate to go from Campy to Steno. Stenovich was phenomenal. I mean, same. Like there was no transition, man. It was just straight from great coach to great coach. Obviously, I had Frank last year, and I feel like that's a huge part of the reason why I've, you know, made it to year 9 and hopefully keep going. But yeah, that's one area in my career I feel very fortunate about to always have coaches that cared about the player 100%. Like never had a coach that didn't care about the player, and also was just extremely knowledgeable about the game.
I guess is it easier as a veteran to now have maybe that instead of coming into the league where?
Yeah, probably. I would say it's probably easier, just because you've been through it. But then again, if I was a young guy in the league and I didn't get along with my coach, or like, you know, he thought less of me or something, then, or he didn't care about me, then maybe it would be, you know, as a vet, like I wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? So it's, but yeah, in my situation, yeah, it probably is a little bit easier to transition. But yeah, all in all, I mean, Nuge seems like a hell of a dude, and you know, excited to get to work with him.
How beneficial will it be just having Sean in the room, knows you guys from last year, you spent a lot of time together, just in terms of making that transition?
Yeah, it's awesome. Sean's awesome, and again, the whole dynamic last year of him, Frank, and the whole room. I mean, we felt like we had a great thing going. You know, we made a lot of improvement throughout the season, and you know, we still have a lot of room to build. But Sean can aid in that. You know, maybe this is how, you know, maybe Nuge sees something on film, and Sean's like, oh yeah, in practice, you know, he did this, and Nuge is like, okay, that's what we can work on. You know, in practice, he has a tendency to do, you know, I don't know, drop his inside foot or something, and then you know, it shows up on film, and now they can correct it in this portion of practice. You know what I mean? So it's just little stuff like that. But yeah, it's huge having Sean back, and obviously he's awesome from West Virginia, so he's a West Virginia guy. He's West by guy, Virginia, and so we're, you know, he brings a lot of personality to the room too, for sure.
Last season was obviously a lot of change for you, leaving Green Bay, coming out to LA. Just having this off season where you're here, you know you're going to be here, you don't have to move, you don't have to find new house, all that stuff. Like how nice has that been?
Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been great, and again, like you know, I was saying, I've been real fortunate to have great coaches. You know, whether it's the head coach McCarthy to LaFleur to Campy to Steno, and there was like that huge unknown coming out here. You know, how's Coach Staley going to be? How's Frank going to be? I mean, and just growing with them, there, you know, that process of just getting to know them, but it was a process, you know. And it's now that I know Coach Staley, it's like it's so much easier. There's no process. It's just like I know who he is, I know what he's about, and you know, it's definitely a lot smoother.
How would you communicate who Coach Staley is to the rookies that you're going to be playing with, Zion, number 1?
Yeah. I think that he's the best thing about Coach Staley, in my opinion, is just like that's like I feel like maybe it's just the media perspective or whatever, but like he's just no BS. You know, he's just an authentic, like honest person. You know, it's different because I don't play on the defensive side of the ball, so I don't really get coached by him a lot. But just having him as a head coach where he's just like, look, this is how it is, and let's not make it out to be something it isn't, you know. And I'm not saying any other coach that I've had does that, but I'm saying like just I think that's what made it so easy coming here and integrating with the team was just his authenticity, not trying to be somebody who isn't. Great family guy, and you know that makes like you don't have there's not like some game being played. You know, I feel like that in the media and stuff, it's just, you know, sometimes it just people get weird, you know, and that's not Coach Staley. And I feel like that's what makes the great coaches great is they just, you know, they're authentic. Ball is ball. Don't try to make it what it isn't, and you know, practice what you preach too, for sure. And I think he's A1A on all that.
Having a full off-season here and coming off your Man of the Year nomination, just how much were you and Anna able to build up CASA in the area here?
Yeah. You know what? Because we went back to Ohio, so we, you know, we've been in touch with them for sure. And there's been a couple events that it's tough because I feel like in Wisconsin, it's like in LA, you got something going on every night, and it's like there's an event that we're not able to make it to. We're trying to find something to build on, and but obviously we're going to continue the work that we did last year and do the same stuff. But again, we're looking to build upon that just any way that we can, for sure.
Any trips to the MVR while you were home?
What's that?
Any trips to the MVR while you were home?
No, I didn't get back to Youngstown. I'm going in the summer. It's tough with 2 kids, man. It's like you got to load them up in the car. Like every trip is like a vacation-like trip. It's like you got to load up all the stuff. You got to load up the diaper bag. You got to bring supplies for like 10 days just in case. It's like, so we tell the grandparents to come on down but it was great. It was great family time for sure. But excited to get back to the MVR and have some of that Youngstown food, and then come back, have to cut weight. A lot of food, but yeah.
That's good.
Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.